Belgium and also in Chicago. We've been around since 1929, long time. And we make ultra high-end stains and coatings. All right? So let's see what's on the menu. You guys hungry? Okay, we have two simple recipes today. All right? Two simple recipes. First of all, we're going to be spinning up a reactive stain. And then we're going to be putting a hard wax oil, 2 coats of it. Okay? The next recipe is going to be Wood Look Plus. That is a water-based polyurethane. And we're going to be putting 3 coats of it on. Alright, so now we have our recipes. The next thing we need to do go shopping. Okay, when we go shopping, here's the ingredients that we're going to be using on this. I can't keep up that accent all day, so. All right. First of all, the reactive stain is weathered oak. That is going to be the color, and the coverage is right up underneath it. Next, we're going to be putting down the magic hard wax oil. Okay, it is going to be white. You see where the coverage is. Now, if you got the square wood coverage, we also sell in liters, okay? And then we also sell in 5 liters. So I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown of what it is. The next one is we're going to be putting white and hard wax oil, okay? It is going to be in a matte sheen, all right? After we get done with that, I'm going to show you our water-based polyurethanes that I think you guys are going to be really excited for us. Okay? So this is our shopping list. That's what we're going to be doing. Chef Patrick, okay? Are you ready for step 1? Are you excited?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. Step 1, apply the reactive stain. So what you're going to see is a little common thread today is we're going to give you what it looks like, and then at the end of the day, once it's cooked up, what it's going to end up looking like in the end, all right? First, for step 1, he's going to go ahead and stir and shake it up, which is already done, correct, Chef? All right? And then you can either spray it on, which you can see he's got a handheld sprayer, or he's going to go ahead and brush it on. In this case, he's probably going to do a little bit of both. So Chef Patrick, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you're applying this?
So in general, what I'm going to do is just get enough material on the wood. The best way to do this on larger jobs is to work as a team. You have one person spraying and the other person sort of leveling. And all you're trying to do is just get enough down and then level it so that you have a little bit of excess. Kind of the nuanced thing you're not going to see here is if you put it down and you start to run out, sometimes you'll get areas where you need to kind of go back and just put enough on. So it's very simple. I just apply a little more air, a little more product, and all you're trying to do is get it down so that you're coating the wood with just a hair of excess. And the beauty of the reactive stains is, if this is a real floor, I've got a wall here, right? I've got to cut around that wall, and then I've got to pull the reactive stain into it. And what you see is a little excess in some areas, that's fine. As long as you get it fairly even, you're going to come out even all the time.
So just to give you a little bit of a prep on where we actually got these panels, what kind of species of wood it is, and what was our final sanding, okay? So this was provided to us by NorCal, which is out of Sparks, Nevada. It is Adloners, and it is their European white oak. Beautiful product, all right? You're asking yourself, why are we using European white oak when it has the most tannins? So back to what we're doing here. This is reactive stain. It's reacting with the tannins in the wood. The hard pieces in the wood actually react the most. The soft don't react as much. But ultimately, this is a concept that's different for a lot of people. And that's why we're keeping it very simple today and just talking about a simple recipe. How can we create this, all right? So we talked about the final sanding was to 120. The benefits of going with reactive stain is it interacts chemically with the natural tannins inside the wood. It creates a unique finish for each piece of wood. The color intensity can be adjusted with the reactive stain here. So we made 16 different colors in the reactive stain. We have another 29 colors, but within each one of those colors, you can mix, you can match, you can change the intensity of it, so you can make infinite recipes of yours at home. That's what this whole thing is about. So Chef, are we ready to show them what it's going to be like? It just came out of the oven, right?
So now, when reactive stain goes down, it's not just a drying process. What you see here, if you got close to it, is you'll see kind of a typical look for a stain. The soft grain is more pronounced than the hard grain. But after it goes through the reaction, which is a minimum of 6 hours, what you end up with is something completely different. We have reactive stains in the line that all look the same, but generate completely different colors because your color is being generated by chemistry, not through pigmentation.
So it's actually going down into the wood and reacting with it. And how long does it need, Chef?
Minimum, we like 8 hours. Some people will move that to 6. And in 8 hours is good, but we want to finish it within about 48 hours of laying it down. What will happen with reactive stains is they'll reach kind of a peak, but if they left unfinished, they will start to trail off into other things. After 2-3 days, they'll start to move.
Let me ask you guys, would this color be popular in any one of your markets? Yes? No? No? That's it.
Who invited you?
I think this is a very popular color right now that almost all of them use in their markets. All right? Chef, are you ready to move on to step 2?
Yeah.
All right. Step 2, we're going to be applying the magic wax oil. You're going to stir and shake, and then you're going to put it down with a 1/4-inch nap roller that is microfiber. All right? So Chef, just kind of walk us through what you're doing here and how you're putting it on.
So what you seal this with is going to determine the final color. If you go in with most of your sealers, they're going to clears, they're going to go amber and darken. And that may be something you want, but in general, people want to hold the reactive stain as close as possible or enhance that. One of the most popular combinations, what we've got here is weathered oak. We've let it react, and then we're going to take magic white and put on it. Now, unlike other hard wax oils on the market, where you pour it down, buff it, move it, spread it, work it in, and do all that, one of the easiest ways to apply it is to actually take 3/8-inch nap roller, just get enough on the wood, and then I'm going to take
Chef, that's
a buffer.
A little buffer, by the way.
I know. And every time I show this, people laugh, and then they go out and buy them and start using them. One of our largest customers in San Francisco, this is all they use to put hard wax oil down, put our product down. So all I'm going to do is now buff that to spread it. Magic oil goes into the wood very easily and doesn't require a lot of manipulation and a lot of work. The reason we use magic oil to seal it is if you take a water base and go directly on this, pour it down, and then take a T-bar or something, start to pull it, it's going to solve it where you lay it down, it's going to start to pull it, and you're going to have color differentials. So we like to seal it with magic oil.
So the benefits of using the magic wax oil, it seals without moving the reactive stain. All right? Now again, we would give that reactive stain at least 6 to 8 hours, depending on where your environment is and where the temperature and humidity is. You would have to adjust. All right? Next, you would go ahead, and the benefits is fast drying along with a chemical resistance and a hardener that can be added. All right? So I'll repeat that again. A hardener can be added to our hard wax oil. All right? The last, in which I'm excited about, is the breathable and unparalleled natural finish. All right? What do I mean by breathable? Instead of putting a form-building finish over top of this, this actually sits over top but penetrates down into the lower grains, as you can see, and allows for the wood to be what it is, as opposed to putting a form-building finish over top of that. All right? Last, ultra durable hard wax oil on the market with 16 colors. 16 colors that are pre-made. So you're getting a ceruse look, but you're getting unparalleled durability along with it. A lot of people I hear, they're always worried about the durability of hard wax oils. Well, ours, we don't have those problems with it. And if you don't believe me, then I'd love for you to try it. Chef, what are we doing next?
So Magic is part of a two-coat system, so it's a two-coat oil. And I have a couple of options here. One is, if I want to put more white in this, I can do the second coat with white. Okay? And what I do is just buff that on. And you don't want to remove all the excess. We really want to, the second coat's going to be primarily a build coat and give you a nicer texture and a nicer look. So we want to do that, and that'll ensure that you never have water spots or any issues with it. In this case, what we're going to show you is a sister product to Magic, which is Titan oil.
Are you jumping ahead of me?
Am I?
Oh, to show them what it's going to look like? Bring it out of the oven.
I suppose I should. I'm not a very good chef. I'm in training. So after this is dried, it's going to look like this.
All right, so this is at the end of step 2. All right, step 1, reactive stain. Step 2, we're putting down the hard wax oil Magic, which is white. All right, so you see the changes that we're getting and what it's going to look like afterwards. Hence, that's why we're calling this the cooking show. All right, now we're moving on to step number 3. Step number 3 is where we apply the Titan hard wax oil, and it is a matte sheen. All right. Again, we're going to put it on with 1/4-inch gap microfiber. All right. Does it matter which way you go with it, Chef?
No. So the thing about Titan is we don't have to buff it on, buff it off, do any of those things. We're really going to put it almost like you put a water-based finish down. So we're going to essentially coat the wood, kind of pushing on the roller to just make sure it gets down in the cracks and crevices, that it's coated nicely. And as the roller starts to get drier, a little bit drier, we're just going to kind of go back over it and complete it.
So
now,
Chef, you're rolling on hard wax oil.
Yeah. And so again, we're working in a house, we're working around doors, we're working around all those things. So I'm going cross grain at the end of a room. I'm coming down here. My guys are getting a little sloppy. They're going across at 45 degrees angle. We're also doing some of it straight. And I welcome all of you to come. This is going to go through a drying process that's kind of scary.
Chef, you're getting a little sloppy here, buddy.
I know.
All
Well,
right.
you know, I only do panels. I don't do floors. So,
All right, continue
yeah.
panels. Let
Yeah.
me talk about the benefits here.
Okay.
Long open time and further resistance providing hardener. Okay? So one of the most durable hard wax oils on there. Number 2, highly suitable for application with the roller. The one thing that I really want you to see from this is we're rolling it on. We're not buffing it. All right? We're going to roll on a hard wax oil and leave it. All right? And then once it is cured out, it's going to give you natural protection and also an excellent chemical and mechanical resistance. All right? So now we've done step 3. What is step 3 going to look like when it's done? I'm keeping you on, Chef.
I know, we're under time constraint.
You're
Okay,
doing fine.
so that's what it's going to look like when it gets done.
Look at that. A beautiful look, unmatched parallel beauty, but also with the durability. That's what got me excited about these products. Ease of use, but the performance is on the high end. And this is not for everybody, right, Chef?
It's for everybody.
Not everybody can use it, or do you think everybody can use it?
I think everybody can use it if you follow the directions. If you follow the recipe.
Questions so far? So, Chef, he's asking about the dry times.
Okay, so the reactive stain, we're going to let that react for I like 8 hours. Okay, it depends on temperature and humidity, but 8 hours. The mistake that most people do is they go for dry time, and it'll be dry to coat in about probably in here in a couple hours. But there's a chemical process that's continuing and will continue. When we buff the Magic on it, we can put the next coat on it after about 6 to 8 hours, depending on temperature and humidity. But at 8 hours, definitely, even where all our tests are done, which are in Belgium, it's more humid, it's cooler, you can roll the Titan on at that point. The Titan is like the Magic. It's going to be, I mean, you can walk on it with stocking feet at about probably 7 or 8 hours, but we want to kind of hold move-in off for 24 hours probably, something like that.
So total to do the 3 steps, how long would it take?
You're asking me to do math now.
7 days is 100%
Oh,
cured?
no. So most contractors will pull this off, they'll install and sand the floor, and they'll put the reactive stain on at the end of the day. They'll come in the next day, or if they wanted, they could put it on in the morning, in the afternoon, buff it out, and the next morning roll it out with paint. So it's really a 2 to 3 day process, depending on how you time it.
So 2 to 3 days, and this is what your end product looks like, all right? Did he answer your question? Other question?
Yeah, maintenance, what's your recoat?
Great question. Go ahead and talk about the maintenance.
So recoat on these, never. So that's a joke. Sorry.
I hear you.
Okay. So in general, so Carglass Oil Magic and Titan are so liquid resistant, so wear resistant, that really you can Swiffer them, you can vacuum them, you can dry, you can mop them with water if you want to. If you're going to clean it with a cleaner, we make a concentrated non-residue cleaner that actually it's not non-residue. It has a little bit of just a touch of oil that kind of repairs the surface and kind of fills in the surface. So you can clean it with that whenever you want to, essentially. I have it in my house. I have never cleaned it with, and it's been down for 2 years. I've never cleaned it with our cleaner.
So Chef, would you say that the maintenance is maybe one of the differentials?
Very easy.
Very easy,
Yeah.
and one of the things that is different from some of the other hard wax oils out there?
Yeah. And the other thing is for those who live in the poly world, official numbers. I can buff this with magic oil, let it dry for 2 days, and I can pull our water base on top of this. So you can use our 2-component or single-component water base on top of this. It's absolutely approved. I can tell you in a lot of areas, probably not in Florida because of the humidity, but in Nevada, and Arizona, and Tahoe, and different places that are really dry and hot, they're coating it in 24 hours.
So just to recap, 3 steps, that's the recipe, that's the end look that you get, okay? You ready to do our next recipe?
Yep.
All right. Our next recipe is going to be pretty simple, Chef. It's applying 3 coats back to back to back of Wood Look Plus, all right? With stir, shake, and then roll on with a 3/8 step, okay? It is a water-based polyurethane, but what gets me so excited about this product is the performance, the ease of use, and how it looks, okay? Some of the benefits of it: 35% bio-based, environmentally friendly. So all you VOC conscious people, this one's going to be fine for you, all right? It is slightly bleached, so it has a little bit of pigment in it, and you're going to see this as we go from 1, 2, and 3 coats, all right?
Let me correct something.
All right?
The new product, this is the Wood Look Plus. So we have EcoFix Plus, Wood Look Plus, and the Cocoa Plus that are in this line. You can see them at our booth to see what the differences are on those. The new product, which is the Plus version, has 0 pigments, but you get 3 different kind of aspects that look like a bleached effect with this one, which is the most popular.
I got you.
The most popular.
Thank you, Chef.
Yeah.
It is non-yellowing. It has an anti-slip properties. It is ultimately invisible finish. All right? So step 1, we're going to go ahead and put a coat down, right, Chef?
Yeah. So we're using a roller just because in our experience we find a lot of finishers rolling finishes. Okay, you don't have to. You could use a T-bar, you could use a paint pad.
Can we spray this one?
You can actually spray this. We have a lot of customers who spray it. And spray it directly on reactive stain. So rather than pouring it down and pulling it, they just spray this on top of it. And it works perfect. And so really the application is something that I think all of you have done multiple times. which is just rolling it on. Once again, we're dealing with floors and doors and openings and different things going on in the house. And so that, if you take a close look at it, it's not perfect, but we're not worried about it. It's a very forgiving product, very simple, very easy.
Chef, you put right over raw wood.
Yeah,
So it's a sealer and also a top coat.
sealer in the top coat.
That's amazing. All right, show us what came out of the oven. What does it look like?
So this is a single coat of wood plus after it dries. You can see it goes down, it kind of looks like a lot of finishes, kind of ambers, kind of darkens it a little bit, but this is what it looks like after the first coat that goes in.
All right, let's see what coat number 2 looks like.
Okay, so again, I'm just going to do the same thing.
And how long does it take for this to dry, Chef?
So how we recommend processing it depends on which coat you're going to put down. So the entire process, the first coat, in order to do the second coat, I want to let that dry for about 3 to 4 hours. Okay? Hot, dry day, 3 hours, you're absolutely fine. Cool, humid environment, we're going to let it go for 4 hours. And then it's sufficiently dry to do a bill coat on it.
Let's see what number 2 coat looks like when it comes out of the oven. Any hot coat these, Chef?
Hot coat.
You can hot coat.
Yeah.
Hot coating. So what we mean by that is not abrading in between coats.
Oh, yeah.
That's what your question was, correct? Thank you, Seamus. All right, so we've got a difference from 1 to 2.
So in general, now that you asked that question, so in general, these are water-based. This is going to pop the drain a little bit. So I'm going to let that dry for 4 hours, 3, 4 hours. I'm going to apply my second coat, my build coat. We'll let that dry for, we like 6 to 8 hours, because now it's in a condition where you can sand it easily and it's not going to have any issues sanding. So we're generally going to sand before our final coat. Just a light sand, 220, 150, whatever you're used to using, that's really up to you.
All right, Cook, we got step number 3 coming up.
It's like deja vu.
Now, could you abrade before your last coat if you need to, if you've got some fuzzies?
Yeah, that's I would generally recommend it.
And what would you abrade with, Chef?
150, 220. 220 is probably what most people commonly do.
What if I use a maroon pad, Chef?
And a maroon pad would be fine.
Gotcha. And then go ahead and tack, vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the final coat, I did the same thing. I went cross drain. I think I missed it twice. So I've covered my wall. I've pulled it back in.
All right, show us what it's going to look like, the final product, Chef.
If you look close at that, you'll see there's a roller edgewise going down there. I'm not worried about it. It's all going to flatten out. It's all going to die in. So at the end, this is what it's going to look like. So the key thing about this finish, there's a couple things. One is it's a little lighter and brighter than the original wood. It has sort of a little slightly bleached appearance. But the most amazing thing about this finish, Occulto, EcoFix, and then our Fortico 2C Naturals, extremely high performing 2-component water base, is, and you won't be able to see it in here, but if you come to our booth, you look at matte finishes, they look matte like this. You put this one up with light behind it, and it's still 100% matte. So it has just a much better appearance than any of your matte or ultra matte finishes on the market.
So, Chef, step 1, 2, and 3 were complete, and this is the final 2 products that we got for the recipe.
This is it.
This is it. So, Chef, can we come out and do specific cooking shows on site?
We do.
We do.
And we'll tailor that to as much or as little as you want to learn. So probably we'll do this. The most extreme is we do a 3-day process. It takes about 3 hours the first day, 2 hours the second day, and about an hour the third day. We literally go in and we apply every single one of our reactive stains, our sealers, and all of our magic oil colors. Get that done. The next day we come back because the reactive stain has to process. come back and we actually show you how to seal it, the easiest way to seal it on a job site. And then if you're a bench finisher or a manufacturer that has a finishing line, we can show you how to process that and seal it so that you get the best result. And so we do that, we put our second coats on our urethanes, and then the third day we come in and it takes less than an hour and we roll it out, we roll all the magic oil and this out with Titan. We sand and finish all of our urethane coats. So what you're left with at the back end of that is a complete representation of our line in sort of, the way I like to describe it is I'm driving down the freeway and I'm in the center of a 5-lane freeway. Okay, that's the center lane. Now what you can do is you can start playing with different magic colors, different magic color blends. You can play with reactive stains, different reactive stain blends and solutions and all kinds of things. You literally take this from...
You're talking about you can make your custom recipes.
You can do anything you want to with it.
So ultimately, that's what we were trying to do today, is give you custom recipes. But we gave you just 2 recipes, 2 simple recipes, and these are the final look for you, okay? We have more recipes, and we look forward to seeing what your recipes might look like in the future. But the important thing is they're your recipe. You can create whatever you want to give you the look that you want, all right? We can go ahead and tailorize the training to 1, 2, 3 days, whatever you want, okay? I'm one of those people, as chef over here, seeing is believing, okay? You have to come out and you have to see it, you have to try it yourself, all right? I want to leave you with a couple of things. We're at booth 335, all right? I want to thank you all for coming to the cooking show today. I also want to say bon appetit and thank you for coming, all right? Thank you very much. Anybody that wants to come up and get a closer look at it, please. Yeah, that's all. Yes, thank you for coming to the cooking show. Cooking show. Cooking show, thank you for coming. Coming by. Yeah, you bet. Oh, nice. Very good.